horeysay ee aan la kulmay
Hello and welcome to the news in English live from Mogadishu with me. I am Omar. The top headlines include Somali Prime Minister has held a meeting in the capital on the current drought in Somalia. UN has warned a famine in Somalia by the end of this year. United Nations has recorded at least 70 children who died of starvation at the hospitals in Mogadishu. Galmudug State President has arrived at small areas in Galgaduud region to mobilize the local residents to fight against Al-Shabaab after deadly attacks in the country. African Union forces in the country say they have clashed with Al-Shabaab militants in different parts of the country. Kenyan top court has just upheld the election of William Ruto as the 50th president of the country. Welcome back to the news in detail. Somali Prime Minister His Excellency Hamza Abdi Barre has chaired a meeting on Monday with the National Drought Relief Committee and the prominent business leaders in Mogadishu as Somalia braces itself for a looming famine. According to Somali state media, the meeting focused on speeding up drought relief efforts and reviewing how was the distributed since the committee last met in mid last month. Interior Minister Ahmed Maalim Fiqi said the federal government sent 26 tons of food to the towns of Beledweyne, Bulaburde on August 23rd. On September 4th, the government delivered 20 tons of food to Baidoa, Hudur, in southwest state. In addition, the government said it sent $75,000 to rural communities in Mahas district to repair the water walls in the region. The meeting comes hours after the UN top humanitarian official Martin Griffiths warned of a humanitarian catastrophe in the drought-stricken Horn of African nation is on the verge of famine for the second time in a decade. Famine is at the door, and today we are receiving the final warning. I have been shocked to my core these past days by the level of the pain and suffering we so many Somalis enduring. Griffith said at the end of a 5-day visit to Somalia in the Horn of African nation. I repeat, this is a final warning to all of us. The situation and the trend is resemble those seen in 2010 and 2011 in that crisis, except now they are worse, he has added. Griffiths added that a decade of conflict, poor governance, mass displacement and record fifth veiled rainy season is pushing millions towards a famine in Somalia. Baidoa in southwest state of Somalia has been described as the epicenter of the humanitarian crisis in Somalia. UN warns famine will reach parts of the country by the end of this year. United Nations says famine is at the door in Somalia, with concrete indications famine will occur later this year. In the southern Bai region within the southwest state, this falls just short of a formal famine declaration in Somalia, as thousands are dying in a historic drought made worse by the effects of the war in Ukraine. UN humanitarian chief Martin Graves told the reporters that he was shocked to meet court these past 5 days on a visit to Somalia, in which he witnessed starving babies too weak to cry. A form of famine declaration is rare, and the warning that too little to help has come too late. At least 1 million people in Somalia have been displaced by the worst drought in decades, driven by the climate change, and that also affects the wider Horn of Africa, including Ethiopia and Kenya. Famine is at the extreme lack of food and a significant death rate from outrage, starvation of the malnutrition combined with the disease like cholera. A declaration means data shows more than a fifth of the households have extreme food gaps. More than 30% of the children are acutely malnourished. Over 2 people out of the 10,000 are dying every day in the country. Fascist invasion of Ukraine has been described as a disaster for Somalia, which has suffered from a shortage of humanitarian aid as international donors focus on Europe. Somalia also sourced at least 90% of its wheat from Russia and Ukraine before the war, has been hit hard by the scarcity and the sharp rise in the food prices. Ukraine has occupied the narrative. Graves has added. Hungry family in Somalia have been staging for days or weeks on foot through the budget train in search of assistance. Many parted their family members along the way. Even when they reached camps outside urban areas, they found little or no help. At one camp outside the capital, Mogadishu, Faduma Abdi Ali showed the Associated Press the graves of her 2 small sons next to their makeshift home. Disease had overwhelmed their weakened bodies. One was 4, the other was 8 months old. Al-Shabaab militants have burnt down several civilians in the small villages near the Bahdo district in Galgaduud region on Monday night. According to the residents, the militants set fire to the small villages of Bio Days and Megagdub, located approximately 20 kilometers from Bahjo district near Adado town. They added that the villagers have begun mobilizing and arming themselves to fight against the militants who burnt down their houses. On Wednesday, Al-Shabaab fighters destroyed a drinking well and took communications masts in the night attack in Adda Kibir area on Monday. Residents of the area armed with heavy weapons told the local media they were prepared to fight against Al-Shabaab. Destroying wells and other vital civilian infrastructure has been a feature of Al-Shabaab rule in the country. That's the end of our today's English news live from Mogadishu. With me, I am Omar and the rest of the team here in our studio. We leave you bye for now.